Welcome to the latest Libertas video. Today we are checking out the Ezio Right Gauntlet from Assassin's Creed 2. Now this is a custom leather piece that I had created for my Ezio Assassin's Creed 2 costume. It's been a running series that we've had on this YouTube channel showing how we're upgrading that costume. So this was the next piece. Like I said, I custom made this, so I'm just going to take you quickly through how I put it together, some of the tips that I have, and then we'll give you some resources if you decide you want to do the same. So let's get started. Alright, so to create this gauntlet, I started out by making some foam templates. I've done this in the past. I find the foam to be pretty good at giving me a general shape so I can test it out on my arm, see if it's too small, too big, what needs to be altered, and then I can go back and make those changes. So did that with this gauntlet and then carved it out of the leather and started working on the embossing. Now to do the embossing, what I was able to do is design it in Adobe Illustrator and print it out, see that was the right size, and then I laminated it, overlaid it on top of the leather, taped it down, and actually used my embossing tool to kind of get the rough shape. Then I went in and actually carved in a lot of the detail and forced the edges down to give it that beveled look. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It was kind of the first time that I'd really tackled this much carving into a leather piece, and so you can definitely see from the beginning it's a little rougher, and then once I got near the end and got a little more experience with it, I was a little more confident and got the piece looking a lot better. After the carving process was done, I made sure I had all the other pieces like these buckles and everything ready to go, and then I stained it all in this chocolate brown leather dye. I'll put a link in the description below as to where you can find the same color. It's a real dark brown, close to black, probably the closest you can get it to black while still being brown, but I really loved how it looks. I did this kind of back and forth pattern, not the best way you're supposed to dye leather, but it gave it this really worn, textury look. I'm really happy about that because you get these costumes on, and the more worn and tough they look, the more realistic. It really pulls everything together, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. It's kind of one of those happy accidents because, let's be real, I was being lazy. I then sewed actually this top piece down in 4 locations to the secondary armor piece because Ezio has that layered look, and just used the rivets as an accent piece. I then created these buckle system and bought some buckles on Amazon and put everything together and put this the holes in so it buckles together. Actually, this was in total 3 pieces. These 2 are put together. This third piece is just kind of a leather bracer that goes over, holds on to the hidden blade that I created. I'll go over that in a separate video. But this leather gauntlet was made out of a thinner leather. I actually just put some of the stitching design in it. I didn't want to spend the time to stitch it all down because it gets a little tedious. Also riveted the piece together and used some eyelets to lace it all up. So I was really interested how that turned out. I would have preferred to be a little more form-fitting, but it works, especially once you start putting some poofier sleeves on from the Ezio costume. So overall, I'm really happy with how this gauntlet turned out. Like I said, it's probably the second biggest piece that I put together in leather, and I'm really happy. I'm finding it to be a fun hobby. Kind of gets me away from the computer day-to-day tasks that I have at work and then doing these videos. So it was a lot of fun. I think it looks really, really good on the Ezio costume. If you've been following us on Instagram, you'll have known that or seen some of these updates, so a little old news at this point, but you can also check out our Instagram to see we had done a cosplay session. I had brought out the old Alejandro costume from my Assassin's Creed Betrayal fan film, updated it a little bit. I have that Altair belt that I had created in leather, which was originally in the movie foam, and so I had upgraded it, made it look really good in leather, used the same leather dye actually, so it is pretty consistent with this gauntlet. I was really happy with how that turned out, so you can check out that Instagram photo. Looks really cool. It was a little bit of a blast from the past. But overall, really loving this gauntlet. Works really well with this hidden blade, which I'm dubbing the Venetian Talon. We'll go over that, and once again, in a separate video. And Otherwise, check out the links in the description below. You'll see some of the materials I used to bring this whole thing together. And then if you want to tackle a similar project, you'll have some resources. And that's going to do it for our Right Gauntlet of Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2. Once again, really happy with how this turned out, and I hope it is a good inspiration for you. We'll see you on the next Libertas video.